Greetings, Grace Covenant, on this Friday in Easter. We are still celebrating Easter. The church long ago decided that this was such an important tenet of our faith that it deserved 7 full weeks in the liturgical calendar for us to process what resurrection means. As I look at the stories in the scripture, and as I process and see how people were responding post-resurrection, it makes me realize that the people who had been in Jesus' life were all of a sudden forced into grief with his crucifixion, and then through resurrection forced to see and understand him and understand all of life in a new way. The gift of resurrection was something that people were not familiar with. It was not in their understanding. And so they moved into something completely foreign, and they began to see life in new and fascinating and hopeful ways that they had never anticipated. And I want to say to you today that in the midst of the struggles and the grief and the profound loss that we have experienced in COVID, this has also been a time of new life. This has been a time of causing us to see things in new ways, to have to wrestle with what we knew to be true, and to learn and listen to ourselves and to listen to Scripture and to one another as we discern what new life really looks like. And as a community, we have had so many things that we have learned. We've learned that we can be connected when we didn't think we could. We have been able to maintain our connection with one another. We have been able to offer vital ministry and support. And we have been able to walk with each other in the transitions of life. We have welcomed new life into this congregation and new members. We have said goodbye to members who've moved to care for family members during COVID or to be cared for. We have said goodbye to members of our community who have died and passed on. And we've had to learn how to grieve and celebrate. We even had to learn how to transition with staff. And now we are doing that for the second time as we have the news of Samantha's departure. And we have to celebrate the ministry she had with us for 7 years, still has with us until she leaves in about a month, and to find new ways to support her and celebrate her and Matt and Javier's moving into a new phase of life. So I want you to be attentive to what is going on in yourself as you continue to process what is happening at Grace Covenant, what is happening in the world around us as we move closer and closer to a time of being in closer proximity to one another, to being able to gather in a worship space together, eventually to sing together. But don't let this moment and the new life all around you and the aha moments be lost, because there is still much for us to learn about ourselves and our community. Be gentle with yourself and those around you. Do what you need to process transition. And while you may look back and think that we can't transition in the ways we've been familiar with pre-COVID, find new ways to do that even now as we still are in this time. And look hopeful to how we will move into the time when everyone is vaccinated and it is safer to be together. Because all of this, even with its struggles, are signs of new life, and they are ways that we have been prompted and moved to evaluate and look at life in ways we would have never imagined possible. So celebrate the parts of COVID that mean new life and resurrection, and look to those things that you want to keep in your life as we move forward, the things you've learned about yourself, about your community of faith and those around you who support you, and the things you've learned about how God cares for you. And remember that we love you. We are here to support you in any way we can. So continue to stay safe, and Godspeed.